If you've been following me for the last couple of days, you know that today I'm sharing the third thing that I do every single day. There are 5 things that I do, and today is the third one. And that is, in addition to a yoga, physical yoga practice, and a spiritual meditation practice, the third thing I do is to either watch, listen, or read really inspirational material. So that could be anything like watching a great video from Abraham Hicks or Wayne Dyer, Bob Proctor, or listen to their podcasts, or anyone like Deepak Chopra, Tony Robbins, or read a book. And here's some of my favorites that I want to share with you. I love inspirational people, great leaders, and people who really stand by their convictions. And Gandhi was one of them. He was a lawyer and not instrumental, but actually he fought for the right of secession from the British Crown and created the country of India. Amazing story. If you haven't read the book, definitely watch the movie. Talk about an inspirational human being, someone who really believed in what he was doing and focused unyieldingly toward his goal. He really knew his purpose. Awesome. Here's some other great ones. This book I swear by. I love it. It's called Vibrational Medicine, written by Richard Gerber, who's now passed, a doctor who almost 30 years ago now already knew about the human body and that we're made up of just energy. He knew that. And he knew what the ancient spiritual masters knew, but he came from it from a scientific perspective and talked about it and exactly how it works, and totally scientific. So if you're more of leaning in the spirit of a scientific approach, this is a great book. For those people who have more of a spiritual leaning, then the spiritual masters answer the whole idea of energy. But both, as I've said, I think in other recordings, to me, the spiritual side and the scientific side are really just different sides of the same coin. So great book. He talks about how to self-heal and how the energy of the body we can direct that energy to heal ourselves. Amazing, amazing book. I really highly recommend it. The other book that I swear by, and again, I don't read them every day, but what I do is, if I'm having a thought about something or if I'm questioning something, I'll just open up a page and, I've read all these books, by the way, but, I'll open up a page and always something just addresses whatever it is that I'm facing that day. And I love doing that. But this is my all-time favorite. This is the autobiography of a yogi, written by Paramahansa Yogananda, who came from India in the early 1900s to introduce the Western world to yoga and meditation. You see, in India, yoga means union with God, and yoga is really more of the meditation part of yoga. In the Western world, we have, I hate to use the word bastardized, but we turned yoga simply into the physical postures and an exercise and just all about the body and postures and this sort of thing. And there's so much more to yoga. But Autobiography of a Yogi, what's interesting about this book, it was the only book that Steve Jobs had on audiobooks, available on audiobooks. The first book, I should say, not the only book. The first book that he made available. And we all know that Steve Jobs was considered a very difficult person, etc. But I find it interesting that he never showed his spiritual side. And I just have this inkling that he was a really highly evolved master, and developed and highly developed souls and masters are not always going to be in the form, I think, that we envision them, these holier than thou sort of people. They come in all sizes and shapes, as human beings do, and I think that Steve Jobs was a highly realized soul. I mean, let's face it, he changed humanity through the creation of all these gadgets, the iPhones and the iPads and the iPods and all the smart technology that we have today was copied from Apple, who obviously Steve Jobs created. So great book, great read. Talks about, again, self-healing, talks about meditation, talks about self-realization, and he is my number one guy. Anyhow, so these are the sort of books that I love to read. Other ones include, of course, on the scientific side, books like this one written by Deepak Chopra and Tansy, Dr. Tansy, Superbrain. Again, the spiritual side and the scientific side being the same thing, just different sides of the same coin. They approach self-development, evolution, and enlightenment from facts, from scientific experiments and scientific point of view, whereas the ancient masters approached it, from a spiritual point of view. But it's all the same thing. I think that's what's so cool. So many great books out there. I love this one too, by Brian Greene, The Elegant Universe. And of course this one, I think Jay has talked about this book a number of times, Mastery, How to Become a Master in all that you do. So highly recommend some of these books. There's so many out there, but that's the third thing that I do every day is peek into these books and to remind me of my path and my purpose.